We've got to talk about some of the crazy new anti-gun bills coming up in the state legislature in Olympia. That's next on the Radio Northwest Network. Welcome back to the Larson Show. It's a pleasure to be with you on a Tuesday. Always glad to get your phone calls and your emails at 866-HEY-LARS. And since it's become so popular lately for people to be caught with classified documents, let me make this confession to you. I have absolutely no classified documents, never have, and I don't expect to ever receive any classified documents. But then again, that same assurance was given by Joe Biden and Mike Pence, and they both ended up having classified documents. So I guess when I tell you that, I'm not sure if I'm implicating myself or excusing myself. In any case, let's talk about what's going on at the state legislature. Now, of course, there's lots of nonsense going on in Salem at the Oregon legislature, and a lot of it is anti-gun focused. But boy, are they going to town in Olympia at the Washington state legislature. They got gun bills, anti-gun bills out the wazoo. So my friend Dan Mitchell from Sporting Systems joins us now. Hey, Dan, welcome back.
Good afternoon, and I, too, have no classified documents.
that you know of, unless it's parked in the garage next to your Corvette. I don't have a Corvette either, so maybe I'm safe there. What are they trying to do to us in Olympia right now? And I have a dog in the fight because, as you know, you're in the gun business. I own guns. I live in Washington State. I don't want this stuff passed. What are they doing?
Well, they're going doing a little bit of everything this session. Some of the same stuff, retreads that they've run previous years, but they're taking cues from every town from gun safety and what's passed in other states. And Bob Ferguson wants to make sure that he's being sued and losing in federal court as well. So he wants to get on that list with Texas and Illinois and New York and New Jersey and Maryland and all of these jurisdictions that are losing terribly in the courts right now. But he's late to the party. So, I mean, he's getting sued on a couple things, and we're about to get some good news on those. But they're taking the legislature to town with a whole pile of new gun bills.
Now, are any of them the kinds of changes that would actually, I mean, they always promise if we could just have this gun law, we'd stop a lot of really bad crimes, usually violent crimes from happening. Now, in most cases, they really can't argue that the changes they're going to make are going to have anything to do with criminals because by their very nature, criminals don't follow the law. So usually laws against crimes don't affect the people who are criminally inclined. But are there any of them that have any kind of prospect of doing anything about crime?
There's one, and the Senate Law and Justice Chair, Dingra, won't hear it. That's Senator Wilson's bill that would provide enhanced penalties for theft of a firearm. So if you illegally obtain a firearm through theft, you could be charged with enhanced penalties, not just typical burglary, theft, possession of stolen property, but you could receive enhanced penalties specifically for targeting a firearm for theft. But they're not even going to hear that one. They're going to punt it down the road just like they did last year and do absolutely nothing with it.
This is Manka Dhingra, who is with the Washington State Democrats, Deputy Majority Leader. What's her objection to having tougher penalties for people who steal guns? You'd think that would be right up her alley, even though she's a Democrat.
Well, they're not addressing the police pursuit issues and some of the other police reforms either. They're moving past those and skipping over them. So everything is about making it easier to let people off, not hold people accountable for the actual crimes. But in contrast, coming after the law-abiding citizens, the people that are law-abiding citizens, and making it more difficult or impossible for them to purchase or possess a firearm.
So, in other words, they're going to make it tougher to be a law-abiding citizen and easier to be a criminal. Is that what it comes down to?
Absolutely. Some simple examples, and one that doesn't seem too big, but it falls in the sensitive place argument. House Bill 1195 will prohibit open carry in any public park, city or county park. But what they don't realize is that free speech events where people will have open carry rallies often occur in parks, and that's a protected function for most parks. People over on the east side and some places here, even in Vancouver, you access state and other hunting property by traversing through state and county parks. And some of the parks actually host hunting. You won't be able to open carry a firearm in those places. The permit
so hold on. So on hunting season, because I both rifle hunt and bow hunt, you're going to have to take your rifle and put it in some kind of enclosure, plastic or fabric or whatever, and carry it through the public park, and then take it out when you get to the state lands that you're going to hunt on.
Well, yes, but even deeper than that is on some of those properties where there is specifically hunting allowed.
Oh, and then you won't be. You'll have to hunt with your rifle wrapped up like you would if you were wearing a ghillie suit.
You'll need to keep your shotgun in the case while you're waterfowl hunting over in the potholes in eastern Washington. So, yeah, it's a ridiculous bill, and it's one that'll get challenged in court, no doubt about it, with the sensitive place doctrine. This is just one more overreach to try and make it harder to carry your firearm anywhere you want. The bigger ones that are coming, those are, kind of mild ones. The permit to purchase is what you've seen in Oregon. It's a huge mess. It's unfunded. It's unorganized. It doesn't exist. And they're going to try and create a permit to purchase process here in Washington.
Well, are they not watching what's happening? Because I'm watching Measure 114, which is the permit to purchase, along with a whole bunch of other things. They loaded that up like a Christmas tree. But are they not seeing that one's already running into constitutional problems and practical problems, and they're having a tough time even doing what the folks who proposed Measure 114 wanted to do?
Of course they see it, but that's how you get the newspapers and the TV stations to point the cameras at you instead of the people in Oregon. And that's what a lot of this is about. They realize this is kind of their last gasp, because Bruin is going to devastate a number of these laws across the country. So they're just trying to get one last big push, whether it's for fundraising or for virtue signaling to their base. They don't want to be left out of the party at the federal court level. So they're going to make sure that we're paying to defeat these bills in the courts, but we're execute the bill.
Unbelievable.
Pay on both ways.
Dan, just keep up the fight. I know you do a lot for us at the state legislature, as well as being a private business owner. I appreciate you coming on.
You betcha. Thanks.
That is Dan Mitchell from Sporting Systems talking about the craziness going on at the state legislature. And again, I'd challenge any of you as a naysayer, if you want to explain to me why it would be bad to have tough penalties on people who steal guns and use them in crimes, but it's a good idea to put more ridiculous restrictions on law-abiding citizens, I'd be glad to take that naysayer call anytime you want to do it. Glad to be with you, too. If you want to jump in, it's 866-HEY-LARS on the Radio Northwest Network. And, of course, naysayers go to the head of the line at 866-439-5277.